Hi everyone, this is a video for CCNY Music Fundamentals, and today we're looking at Chapter 2 of the Norton of your textbook, The Musician's Guide to Fundamentals, and we'll cover, I'll probably chop this up into at least 2 videos, maybe more, just since it's easier to access whatever you're looking for in shorter videos, but we'll just go in order of the book that it deals with these concepts and just to clarify things. So we'll start with sharps and flats, and as your book notes, sharps and flats, here, why don't I pull this up for you? Sorry. Okay. So you look here, this is your textbook, and I've highlighted these key concepts, by the way. Pay attention to these. These often give, hence the phrase, key concepts to what your kind of desired learning outcome, what you should take most from these. So write them down, copy paste them into a document, something like that might be a good idea. In case you're getting confused about something, you can refer right back to these things, these key concepts. So a sharp is this, hashtag looking symbol. It raises any note that you put it next to. And then a flat sign, this small little b, lowers a note. And it raises, so a sharp raises a pitch by 1/2 step, okay? And a flat lowers the pitch by 1/2 step or semitone. So if you have the note C, middle C, and I put a sharp sign next to it, to its left, it's always to your left of the note, then that C will become a C sharp. And if I put a flat next to that C, then it will be a C flat, likewise for any pitch. And there's also a natural sign. That's another of these accidentals. And you see I've highlighted that here. Anytime you manipulate a pitch through either a sharp, a flat, or a natural sign, or a double sharp or double flat, which we'll get to later, but is far less common. Those are called accidentals, okay? And the natural sign makes a pitch that was sharp or was flat or is sharp or is flat, it turns it into that natural. So if I start with a C sharp and I add a natural sign, then it becomes a C natural, okay? And take a look right here in this example 2.3, it shows you this D sharp at the top here. And down here, this is probably easier to see. It's kind of cluttered up in the treble clef. This F sharp, right, this is an F sharp. And then you see the sharp sign to the left. The very next beat in this measure, it gets a natural sign. The same note head had a sharp and now it's a flat. So what was an F sharp? This pitch is an F sharp and this pitch is an F natural, okay? Same thing happens in the last measure here. This F sharp here up to G, then when it comes back down, it's an F natural. And you see all these other accidentals here, right? There's a flat there, another A flat there, then F sharp down here. You see it a lot of places. Now, one thing that gets confusing to early theory students is this idea of enharmonic spelling, enharmonic tones, enharmonic pitches. It all is the same thing. Enharmonic, the word enharmonic just means basically sounds the same, but written differently, right? So what we're getting at here is there are pitches that will sound to you exactly the same, but will look completely different to you. Let me pull up my keyboard or little digital keyboard here to show you what I mean. If you give me just a second. Here we go. So let's share this again. So here's our keyboard. When we're talking about enharmonic spelling, remember, it's pitches that are written differently but sound exactly the same. So I might decide to write this pitch. All right, let's do C. Let's just do C. All right. So I've marked C. That is a C, the pitch C. Now, what about, I'll unmark that or clear it. Then we have this pitch. What's the pitch? 1 half step low or below C. That's a B. We know our notes on the keyboard by this point. We know that this is B and this is C. So they're right next to each other, okay? Clear. Now let's listen to C. All right. That's how C sounds. That's how B sounds. Now, what if I ask you to write the pitch B, okay? B below middle C. You would write a pitch that sounds like this, right? But what if we know that what a sharp sign does is raise a pitch by a half step. What if you write that B natural, or that B, and then put a sharp next to it, then this pitch gets raised by a half step and it will sound like this. It'll sound like a C. I'll show you what I mean on a piece of staff paper. Share this with you. Okay. So here's just a blank sheet of staff paper. I'll do the same thing. Here's a C. Maybe I'll try to make it louder or longer at least. So here's a C. Great. And here is a B. So you can hear them back to back. Now, what if I I add a sharp sign, a sharp accidental to this B. Here's what our tune sounds like. Hear how they sound exactly the same? They are enharmonically, you spell them differently, but they sound the same. So they are the enharmonic pitches and harmonic tones. And what's the reverse of this? Let's take this C and make it a B. So we have the note B, okay? Great. And then we'll put the C now over here, right after it. Right, our Jaws theme. Now, how do I make this C enharmonic to this B? Right, so what we did just before this was take a C and then a B, raise the B by adding a sharp to it to where those were enharmonic tones, enharmonic pitches. Now I want to take this C and make it sound like a B. What will I do to it? What do I have to do? I have to add this flat sign. So listen to them back to back. Here we go. And there we go. So you see this most often in pitches that are a half step away from each other. So on your keyboard, what white keys are adjacent to one another without a black key between them? Of course, that is B and C and E and F. Look again at our keyboard. Right, so we'll mark it. So we have B and C and E and F, right? Then B and C, E and F, B and C, yeah, E and F. All these are pitches that are a half step away, okay? And so that's where you find enharmonic spelling most often, or issues with enharmonics. So that's the other one we can look at here. Let's get rid of these. So here's F, the pitch F on the treble clef. Here's E. Now, what if I want this E to be enharmonic with F? I would add a sharp sign to it, an accidental. So F and E sharp sound identical, but are written in different ways. And by the way, the reason why this matters, this may seem really, really arbitrary. If it sounds the same, why don't you just write it the same? And you'll understand soon why that is. And it all has to do with the kind of different harmonic worlds we're living in within a piece of music, why things are written differently. For now, just understand the concept of enharmonic spelling, and think it's crazy. That's fine. If you think it's ridiculous, I'll eventually try to convince you why it's not. But all that matters now is you understand what's going on with this concept. Let's do the reverse like we did with B and C. Now we have E followed by F. So now I want to make F, this F, sound like this E. Here's how it sounds now. What do I have to do to make this F sound like this E, but still be on this first space? So I'm not changing it to an E. It needs to retain its F-ness. Of course, I need to add a flat accidental. So here's what we have now. And there you go. So if we look back at your, textbook, so here, these are good exercises to just go through and think of the enharmonic spelling. I'll do a couple with you right now. So B sharp is enharmonic with what pitch? We just did this a few minutes ago. It's enharmonic with C, right? Let me look at, we'll switch to the piano here, the keyboard. So here's, if we're looking for B sharp, first let's find B. Maybe I'll mark it. Here's B. So B sharp is a half step above this. When you add a sharp, it raises it a half step. So this is B sharp, also known as C, right? So again, we have B, we add a sharp, raises it a half step. So the answer, B sharp, is enharmonic with C. That's the answer there. Then these other ones get a little trickier when we have two pitches that will have accidentals. So let's look at C here, example C. A sharp, and always go to your keyboard or a music staff. Keyboard, I think, can be helpful. So again, A sharp, sorry. Right, A sharp. So first let's find A. Doesn't matter which A, here's an A, either one. Let's just pick this A. So here's A. And a sharp does what? It raises that pitch a half step. So this becomes this. This is an A sharp. Now, what is its enharmonic equivalent here? Well, let's look around. What are the pitches next to it? This pitch right here is what? That's right, that's a B, right? You can count, start from C if you want. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So if this is the closest one, remember we had A sharp. So this has to be some sort of B. This is regular B. How do we turn this note into this one? That's right, we add a flat to this note. So B flat is the same as A sharp. Let's look at our score again, just so you can see it in two contexts here. Okay, let's get rid of this. So let's start with an A sharp. We'll just put it here. A sharp, and then we said B flat, right? And here's a B flat. Do they sound the same? They sure do. They are enharmonically equivalent. So that's a good place to kind of wrap it up for right now into this chapter 2. I'll come back and we'll talk about more things from this chapter, half steps and whole steps, which I've already mentioned a couple times, and double sharps and whatnot. Okay, y'all. I'll be back soon with another video for chapter 2. As always, email me with questions. See you soon. Take care.